It's hard to say whether or not I believe him, or if he's just trying to protect me from whatever else he saw in there. Either way, I don't press for it. The last door is locked. It's big and made of small logs. Its deep brown color contrasts with all the others. Raven jiggles the handle for a few times, and Carl tries to look into the cracks between the logs, but it's completely black. So that's it. That's all the doors. I'm starting to feel a certain level of panic again, now that I know that we're stuck. Well, you don't know that you're stuck.
Yeah.
Go back in the attic.
Yeah,
the place you came from,
you
Chase.
guys should just totem pole.
It's ironic that his name's Chase, but his ankle's broken. But it also might be ironic that he might get chased. Carl, I think, picks up on that and comes over to where I'm leaning against the wall to set a hand on my shoulder.
It's alright, man. We haven't checked the attic either.
I was about to say, like, I mean, I would know. I did say. That's not what those words mean.
I mean, there aren't any windows, so like you said, we're probably in a basement or something, right?
The reassuring hand feels good, but it's not exactly enough to keep me from feeling a certain level of despair. Yeah, I know, because you've been kidnapped or something. Honestly, I think I'm still dreaming right now. Carl doesn't say anything to that. Raven sidles up next to us. Well, dream or not, I'm still pretty hungry.
I thought Raven's name is such a bright blue. Like,
it's
like
so
he's some sort of beacon of hope in all of this.
We both glance at Raven, and I can't help but give a little laugh at the grin on his face. I guess, at least for now, it's best to just not think about it. Music change. Oh yeah, I have been told... I've had something about Raven explained to me. There's a quirk of this game. Is that because it's crowdfunded, there are characters in this game that are just straight up people's personas. Oh. Like of people that helped like support the game in its development.
Sorry for smack talking his hair. I feel bad now.
So I guess every route has a guest character that only shows up in that route.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And so Raven is a real person.
Sorry, Raven.
Or at least it's the equivalent of if like Mero or Odessa showed up. I'm just like that's interesting. That doesn't tell me anything about what's going to happen, except for the fact that we can look forward to more conspicuous new characters here and there.
That is fun though. I do like that.
We head back into the kitchen, which doesn't take very long, because every door on the left leads to it. We all split up to search the many cupboards and drawers of the kitchen for food. We come up mostly empty, only finding silverware and cooking utensils here and there. No. Yes? No. My first instinct was that they should split up and all try the door to the kitchen at the same time. Because it somehow always goes to the same kitchen. Yeah. So I'm like, what if you were always... But then I'm like, don't break line of sight.
Yeah,
do not break line of sight with the other people ever. Because you'll somehow never see them again. Do not do that.
I've seen too many movies like this.
But that's my first instinct, to try to like glitch out the thing, is to try to do that.
My first instinct is to literally just go back up into the fucking attic. Like, wow, you guys should just do this. Instead of looking for food and committing to staying here, just, somebody fell from there.
But his ankle.
Yeah, but you raise him up first and have him use his arms to pull himself up.
And also it's scary and dark up there.
Yeah, but...
And whoever goes up there first is gonna get jigsawed.
But,
gonna get decapitated.
Carl doesn't remember how he's here at all, and neither does Raven. The only person who remembers how they got here in any kind of way is Chase, and Chase remembers like coming down from that hole. So that's the only Well,
Chase and Raven both remember going to the hole and then waking up here.
Yeah, so I think it's even more reason to just try that. That's just me.
We come up mostly empty, only finding silverware and cooking utensils here and there. Because of my injury, I cover a lot less ground, only able to hobble around along the counter, using it as a crutch as I move down a line of cupboards. Even if we were able to find any food, there's no way I'd be able to cook it. The only thing I'd ever been able to make on my own was a grilled cheese sandwich back when I was in high school.
Nothing wrong with grilled cheese.
Chase, what the fuck? Ain't even done ramen before. They do it, it's like for free. You get it hot.
Cereal.
Even then, it almost burned down the house when I dropped a piece of bread on the gas stove.
No.
Okay, it's impossible to be that bad at cooking. That's illegal. This is like...
Instant
man,
mashed
am I
potatoes,
right?
spaghetti, macaroni and cheese. There's a lot of options that are very easy.
A microwave brownie.
There's a bunch of very lonely bachelors living alone, and they have survived this long. And how
you can
they
microwave
done
a brownie in a mug.
all the hikikomoris still live, so there was options for you, Chase.
Eggs.
That brownie in a mug thing it's not real. It doesn't work, right?
Isn't there a version of it that works? I don't know.
It's not like an Anne Reidin kind of like debunk.
There
thing?
is like some 5-minute craft bullshit, but I think there might be a version. I don't think the problem was I don't think the problem was necessarily the mug in the microwave. I think it was that they're just like all the 5-minute craft things are always like you take the sweet milk and you take like a little cinnamon and you just spit on it. Oh, it's a brownie now. Like it's like the series of things that they tell you about don't even slightly add up to the thing that they're making.
It becomes an impossibility. But I don't think the brownie mug thing's real.
We'll have to check someday.
I don't know. Or explode the microwave.
Or we'll definitely forget because it's the beginning of an episode. So everyone remind us by explaining it to us in the comments, and we'll be like,
a coffee mug in the microwave,
and we'll be like, what the fuck were we talking about during Echo?
Who the fuck knows?
In a panic, I threw the flaming bread across the kitchen into the living room.
No, James.
Wow.
Sink.
How did you do that?
Throw it in the sink.
How did you do that? I smile at the memory as I open the last cupboard along the wall, and right in front of me is a block of cheese on a glass plate. I thought that sentence was going to end with giant spider.
No.
He just opens up. It's like, now that I'm smiling about something, here's a cupboard full of spider.
Did you just conjure up the cheese?
By thinking about it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he made up the ingredients for grilled cheese.
Next to it is a loaf of bread in plastic bagging, and a small square of butter wrapped in wax paper. I stare for a moment, waiting for the food in front of me to disappear. I even blink a few times to be sure. Guys?
What's up?
You seeing this?
What?
Cheese, bread, and butter. I stand to the side and Raven perks up.
Oh, you found food! I swear I already checked that cupboard.
I'm sure you did.
He did. Because this is a place where you can manifest, apparently. Raven is next to me a few seconds later, reaching in to take out the food. For a moment, I swear the bread blurs as he pulls it out, and I have to shut my eyes for a moment to keep from feeling sick. I feel Carl support me from behind with his hands on my shoulders.
Whoa, dude. You alright, Chase?
What do you think?
What do I think?
Do you think it's like gonna do you think they're gonna do the gross out thing where it's like they're actually eating and it's a rat covered in maggots or something?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Or do you think they actually manifested it because that's how this place just works?
I think they actually manifested it, but I think perhaps it maybe won't taste like anything, or it'll be like one of those
like
things
something's gonna be
where
wrong with it, like a glitch.
everyone tastes it differently.
What are the rules of this place? I grab onto the counter again.
I'm rooting for a mouthful of spiders.
Spiders. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, he bites into it. It's that mother covered in babies that's from earlier. They just erupt in his mouth.
Oh,
his mouth's full of baby spiders. I hate this. Carl waits for a moment.
Bursts with some wiggles. What?
I was thinking about grilled cheese before I opened the cupboard.
Like, you wanted a grilled cheese sandwich really badly and it popped up?
Sort of.
Huh.
Carl walks up to the bread and bends over, observing it closely.
It looks real.
It is real.
Raven walks up to the cupboard where he had pulled the food from and closes it.
Alright, I'm wishing for... a steak.
He closes his eyes for a moment, then reaches out to pull the cupboard back open, smiling expectantly. I love how instantly he is on board for this entire premise.
He doesn't even care about like the repercussions of this.
He's
or
just
what
so
it might
encouraged
mean.
by food that he's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, magic realm where I summon food, let's go.
I don't care about what this means for us and our mortality.
It's empty. Well, grilled cheese ain't bad.
Take what you can get.
I think I like Raven. I'm gonna feel sad when he gets dismembered or something. It's never good to be the last character introduced.
Especially in a Spencer's.
The most damning thing of all. Raven moves down the counter to grab one of the pans hanging from the rack. Carl moves over to my side as Raven turns the gas stove on with a click, click, click of the igniter.
That always spooks me.
Because like it's just gonna explode.
Yeah, I grew up with those, but like it always made me nervous because I grew up with like ones that had the electric coils. And I like those more because you can see them getting hot because they get red. So the ones where you have to click, click, click before it ignites, I'm always worried that it's gonna like emit gas while you're sleeping and cause your house to blow up.
Now we just got like, what are they called? Induction stoves or something? The ones that's just like a flat top.
Well, we have a glass. We have a really fancy stove.
The problem with that kind of stove is you feel safe sometimes. You're like, it's a table.
Yeah,
it's a flat table not being used, and then suddenly somebody's plastic bag is fused to the stove.
We in my hometown, we had a person who they were trying to kill themselves with like using the gas stove to make their house full of gas. But what happened was they passed out, but they forgot what they had done. So when they woke up, they turned on the light. And it caused the whole apartment complex that they were in, like, to explode. Luckily, no one else was... It was a very big miracle, because like, nobody else in the adjoining apartments was home. But that person ended up getting arrested, because it's illegal to try to do something like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, they'd forgotten because they had passed out, so they just woke up and they reached for a light switch and went...
Jeez.
Yeah. It was a big deal. My English teacher was one of the people who didn't die because she wasn't home. So she had an adjoining apartment.
Jesus.
Dude, I think one of the important things to do right now is to stop questioning this place. We just can't make sense of it.
I fold my arms. It has to be a dream. Carl puts an arm around me.
Maybe, but dude, I'm just glad I'm not here alone.
I nod in agreement. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to deal with that.
Let's just take it one step at a time for now, man.
You making fun of me? I manage a small smile. Are you high right now? Carl laughs.
Man, I wish.
I hear the sizzling of the melting butter as Raven plops it on the pan. I feel like this is like... It's like your inner demons are coming out. It's like, oh yeah, you never want to leave the house. You never want to go outside. Now you can't. All the doors open to walls, and the hallway's infinite, and the kitchen loops.
You were afraid that time you almost burned down the house with grilled cheese? Well, guess what? Now you're just making grilled cheese.
Well, I mean, like it feels like Carl's hell, like this,
or Carl's heaven.
This like reflection of him.
Well, once again, Raven's here, so I don't think. Like I said, I think if it was just Carl and
Carl's
Chase.
ultimate hell is that Raven will never go away.
I think he wants it to just be him and Chase.
Carl and I go about setting slices of cheese in bread as Raven starts searing them. The action of making food doesn't have to calm me down, at least a little, and the other two keep high spirits. The other two keeping high spirits lifts mine. Before long, there are 6 grilled cheese sandwiches stacked on a plate. That's a lot at once. I guess it's just how much they have. Like, I better do it now before the stuff just disappears or something. They look good, but after the first bite, I almost let the food fall back out of my mouth. What the fuck? I look over to see Carl and Raven pulling similar faces. Ugh. It kind of tastes like chalk.
You know what chalk tastes like?
Talc. Because it's made of talc. It's a rock. The end.
Thanks, geologist man.
Yeah. I ate some when I was a kid.
He had pica.
He has a point. It's dry and crumbly, almost inedible.
Well, it still sort of tastes like grilled cheese. Sort of. Or maybe they're in purgatory.
I don't think this is food.
It's not that bad.
Besides, it's all we've got. Raven forces another bite, and so does Carl. I can't bring myself to do it. My ankle, the smoke, the dead body smell, and the noose. It's all too much for me to deal with right now. I watch Carl and Raven talk back and forth, and I'm again struck by how surreal this all feels. I think back to the time I first got stoned from a stupid pot muffin. How nothing felt real. How I felt like I wasn't in control. Am I still there? It's like when you take that one like drug that makes you feel death and your whole life plays.
DMT.
And like you wake up, whoa. Like you're coming out of that fucking Rick and Morty video game where you play a whole life.
I don't need to do that more than once.
We were playing Chase the game.
Reincarnation always sounds like a horrible idea to me, because although I wouldn't remember anything, the thought of having to live all over again just sounds fucking horrible.
It's like that only 10 times worse. I wonder if the others feel the same. Something ebbs to the surface of my mind, trying to break through the veil of fog shrouding my mind. What are we doing? Why are we sitting here eating when we should be trying to figure out a way out to get the fuck out? 'Cause we're hungry, Chase? Cha. I open my mouth.
Oh. Well, I think you should pick the middle one.
Let's pick the middle one, which is the statistical choice that people like to make because it makes them feel safe.
Well, I want to feel safe.
I struggle to keep my food down and instead choose to look hard at the tablecloth. You're not hungry? Raven's looking intently at my half-finished sandwich. Nah, you can have it. What, is he gonna eat a third and a fourth sandwich? I slide my glass.
Dog.
That's so much food. Look, he looks happy too. Are you crazy?
Yes.
And also, don't look happy and please. You should be concerned looking,
Chalk.
Raven.
It's Chalk, Raven.
I slide my glass plate across the table to Raven. Carl watches me but doesn't say anything, slowly chewing. Obviously, I'm like catastrophizing and looking for something bad to happen literally every second. That's just where we are. But the fact that Carl's bigger and Raven's smaller and Raven's gonna eat apparently a third and a fourth sandwich of the stuff and Chase isn't gonna eat any of it makes me think that Raven might be in trouble.
Perhaps.
He might be the guinea pig. Carl watches me but doesn't say anything, slowly chewing. I subconsciously note that he'd eaten around the crust, leaving those on his plate.
He's just like me.
We start discussing what else we might be able to do here, other possibilities on how we could get out. The attic is really the only place we haven't been yet, but because it's so dark, we're not so sure about going.
Well, why don't we sleep on it and figure out what we'll do when we wake up? I don't want to sleep down here, Carl.
Raven yawns widely. That sounds good to me. Feels like it's been hours.
Raven!
It does feel that way, but without our phones, it's really impossible to tell. I don't know if your brain's manifesting stuff, I don't know if I'd trust to know what happens if you sleep here.
Gosh. I don't think
Especially with your sleep paralysis and the panic that then... Like, you hallucinate when you have sleep paralysis. Do you want that brain to be conjuring stuff here? I don't like that.
Yeah, no. I don't think I'd be able to sleep. It's a very stressful situation.
Yes, this is a lot. Leaving our plane, this music, by the way, is just like so chill, and it's not. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be chill.
Leaving our plates where they are on the table, Raven leads us back out into the hallway. It takes us a few minutes to find the right door, considering everything looks identical, though we take special care to avoid the damaged door. As Raven moves into the bedroom, Carl leans against the wall, turning his head to talk back to me.
Hey, we're gonna be alright, okay?
I look back at the one green eye I can see, and will myself to squash the boiling pit of dread in my stomach. Okay. It's just that I can't believe this is happening, you know?
I gotcha. I just want you to know I'll be there for you, okay?
I look back at his gaze for a while, to the point where I think he's getting uncomfortable. I sigh. You guys are just acting really weird about all this.
Yeah. Yeah? See, I said yeah, and then Carl said yeah, but he said it with a question mark.
Yep.
Like, yeah?
Well, I guess Raven is being Raven, but you're acting different.
Really? How?
I swallow. Just yesterday you were throwing up over a job interview. Now you're the level-headed one while I'm freaking out. I laugh a little. I don't understand what's going on is all. Carl sets me down against the wall, then turns to me with a hug.
Hey man, I don't know either. I'm just trying to keep it together too.
The hug surprises me, but I take it gratefully. I stare over his shoulder at the uniform hallway. Despite Carl's efforts, the worrying feeling returns. Raven pokes his head around the doorway. Hey guys, that little sofa thing is awesome. I'll sleep there, you two can have the bed.
Raven's reading the room for once.
I can...
What the no!
Sunday.
Sunday.
Well... Whose blood is that? And of course, I dream. I'm running through endless hallways. All kinds of hallways, including one that looks like a space station and another looks like a medieval castle. In each one, I run into locked doors. Because of this, I can only move through the halls, never knowing what's behind those doors. Eventually I wake up, but my dead limbs and heavy head tell me I'm not awake, not fully. I brace myself and shut my eyes again. My heart thumps and stomach churns with the disappointment of knowing I'm still in that fucking bedroom. The one that tells me I'm stuck in a nightmare that's beyond the one I'm currently in. I feel things move around the room, hear things that sound like whining, crying, and screaming. Then I hear something in the ceiling, moving above me. It has many legs, like a spider that weighs hundreds of pounds. And then I'm free.
Well.
I hold still as the gradual release of the paralysis seeps through my muscles and joints. At this point, I feel like I've mostly learned how to cope with the nightmares. That thought would make me happy if I wasn't so crushed that I'm still here in this actual nightmare. Immediately, anxiety rises back up in my chest as I realize how fucked up this actually is, how much sense this doesn't actually make. As far as I can tell, we've been drugged, somehow, and moved to this underground hellhole as an experiment of some kind. Someone in Echo had to have done this. One of the crazy old people, maybe Duke. He probably built this underground maze just to watch us lose our minds, probably getting off to it at the same time. I grip the bed sheets and grit my teeth, grimacing at the ceiling as I try not to cry. That had to be it. This isn't some kind of supernatural alternate dimension. This is real, and someone's fucking with us. We're probably being watched by cameras that are set up in corners and peepholes right now. That idea sends a shiver down my spine, and I glance to my left, scanning the wall for any inconsistencies. We need to get out of here as soon as we can, and the sooner we start moving, the better. I hear a small whining grunt to my left. At that moment, I look over, only to find that Carl isn't in the bed next to me. I stare for a moment at the tangled mess of sheets on his side of the bed, trailing off to the side. Carl? Another grunt. Then I hear Carl. At least I think it's Carl. Yeah, this isn't a good place for Carl to do his sleepwalking thing.
I like how that little couch on the foot of the bed is apparently where Raven slept, but it looks like he would not even remotely fit on it.
You just gotta curl up like a dog.
I don't talk about him in that prejudiced way, Keith.
Also, the bed looks tiny somehow. Like, just confusingly small.
I don't understand the purpose of a big, tall thing in the back like that. Ooh.
His voice is deep, raspy, and it sounds like he's trying on some sort of weird accent that I've never heard him use before.
Oh, is he
what?
Possessed again?
That's what I think.
My name... soiled.
Slowly, I sit up, and that's when I see something white sitting next to the bed. Sup?
That looks like Baphomet under there.
Oh yeah, those are horns. My first thought was dumb. I was like, elephant?
Oh my god.
Because the ears.
Oh my gosh, Keith. That's so funny.
Of course it's horned, yeah. There's probably Chase under a sheet, Carl under a seat. A sheet.
A whole new character. Last act.
Jesus. I jump and slide back on my ass away from it, almost falling off the other side of the bed. Staring at it a few seconds longer allows me to make out the clear shape of horns under a bed sheet. Carl is sitting next to the bed with a white sheet over his head, swaying back and forth gently. What the fuck, Carl? I shout whisper to him, my earlier exclamation sounding way too loud in this quiet room. I look over at Raven, but somehow he's still curled up on the sofa, fast asleep. See? Returning my attention to Carl, I jump again as I see that he's staring straight at me, or would be staring at me if there wasn't a sheet in the way. Carl, what are you doing? This isn't fucking funny at all. I push myself off the bed, leaning against it to take the weight off my swollen ankle, now to twice its original size, as I stand in front of Carl. I reach out to take the sheet off his head, but I hesitate. The horns, they look bigger than they should be, and the voice is so different.
Dining. Love.
Carl? Carl, you're scaring the shit out of me. My voice is weak, and it cracks at the end as I lose my nerve. Had this place been getting to Carl more than he'd been letting on? But then maybe he was just sleepwalking. I remember him doing that when he slept over at my house years ago. I reach out again, more slowly this time, but again I hesitate. I can't shake the feeling that if I pull it off, it won't be Carl. Suddenly the horned head shakes back and forth violently, the grunting reaching a fever pitch. Shocked, I fall back on my rear, yelping as my ankles jolted. I lean back on my hands, watching with wide eyes. The shaking is so wild that the sheet starts to slip off the head, as if whatever is under the sheet is trying to shake it off. I brace myself, watching as the sheet slides slowly from the horns to reveal Carl. Of course it's Carl. He stares back at me with bleary eyes like he's just woken up. I swallow hard. Carl. Carl, what are you doing? He's silent for a moment, then finally speaks.
I know what to do.
Where are we supposed to be looking?
Anywhere, but I know it's here.
I lean uselessly against the dining room table again, watching them. I'm biting my lip, trying not to lose my cool, trying to absorb everything Carl had just told me. You said James Hendricks himself came to you in your dream, right? Carl huffs but doesn't look back at me.
Yep.
And he told you that you had to find something? Carl gets down on his hands and knees and looks under the stove.
I know it sounds stupid, but that's what happened.
I frown. You know, I had a dream about a giant spider crawling through the ceiling but that doesn't mean I'm going to be searching around for a spider in the ceiling.
Maybe you should, Chase. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe
No.
that's how you get out.
Get Shelobbed, Chase.
The spider's benevolent. It'll help you out. No, this was different. I've never had a dream like that before.
He stands back up and looks right at me.
It felt like he was actually my brain, telling me.
I look back at him for a while, not wanting to tell him he's going crazy just like I am. Well, it's kind of vague to just tell you that you need to find something, isn't it?
He told me other stuff.
Carl moves closer to me, starting to look through the various decorum of the dining room. Like what? Carl lifts up a vase, then looks inside.
Said this place is chaos. A leftover memory from the old house.
That still doesn't really make any sense.
And that he organized it for us, into separate sections, to help us figure this out and clear his name so we can get out of here.
How is clearing James Hendricks' name going to end this? I throw my hands into the air to gesture at everything that this is. Carl bends down to look under the dining room table, then stands up right in front of me.
What else do we have to go off of?
Hey, I found something weird. We both look over at Raven, who holds up a corkscrew. Carl turns back to me, ignoring the husky.
He's like, whatever.
Like, fucking
Raven.
whatever. Jesus.
If we find it, that locked door will open, and we'll be able to get out.
If he is here, why doesn't he just show up himself and do it for us?
He said he's weak, that there are other forces in this house that have more control than he does. He can only do so much.
I gape at him. Do you hear yourself right now? Carl frowns, then moves past me. What does his name even need to be cleared of? I feel tears starting to sting my eyes again because now I think I'm the only one here who realizes how crazy this all is. Don't you guys get what's actually going on here? Raven stops rustling through the drawers and looks up at me. You okay, Chase? No, because someone fucking kidnapped us and put us in this crazy maze dungeon, and we should be trying to figure out how we can get out. It's quiet for a moment as Raven and Carl exchange glances. It's okay, Chase. We're gonna get out of here. I lean my head back in despair, about to cover up my face with my hands when something catches my eye. In the chandelier, a small white envelope is wedged between the glass ornaments.
That seems like... That's
conspicuous.
Like such an Easter egg hunt. It's in the chandelier, guys.
I squint to make sure it's not my watering eyes creating an illusion.
Is this an escape room?
Yes. There's definitely
Yes.
an envelope up there. Diamond patterns from the crystal cast across its surface. That's my first thought yesterday in this game. Was like, this is an escape room? Guys? Carl ignores me as he continues to shuffle through the things on the counter behind us. Carl? I found something. I point straight up at the chandelier above me. Carl stops then, finally, and moves next to me, looking up.
Is that a letter?
Looks like it. Do you think... Is that what you're looking for? Carl gets up on the table, wobbling slightly as he reaches up to pull the envelope from the crystals. With a heavy thump, he drops back down to the floor. I'm still skeptical of everything right now, but as I get a closer look at the letter, I think I start to recognize it. That kind of looks like the same envelopes your mom collected. Carl picks up the envelope, turning it over.
Kind of. It just says John on the front.
Carl opens it up the flap to empty out the contents.
Isn't that the guy that... Whoa.
The letter lights up, and what sounds like a match being struck accompanies the flash.
Actually, this sound kind of spooked me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
Carl gasps and drops the letter, shaking his hands. It's on fire!
Shit, put it out.
I stupidly wonder if the lights had somehow set the letter on fire as Carl starts trying to smother the letter with a sleeve. Well, at that moment, a great moaning sound shakes the walls, almost knocking me off my feet and sending plates crashing to the floor. I cling to the table as plates fall from the counter and the chandelier swings above us. The deep groaning coalesces into a scream that makes me clap my hands over my ears. Carl is staring at the ceiling, his eyes wide, when we hear another hissing sound. I jerk my head to look back in time to see a gush of inky black smoke burst from the stove, another scream accompanying it. It rushes straight towards us, and for just a moment I see the outline of what looks like a mouth and eyes in the smoke before it engulfs me. My senses are completely smothered. It feels like something is slamming up against my chest, and all my air is gone to be replaced by the unbreathable smoke. Its consistency is like water, filling my ears and eyes. I scream into the emptiness, but I can't hear myself over the cacophony that sounds like rushing water mixed with muffled screams and explosions. I fall to my knees, then curl up on the ground into a ball, just praying that the savage thing killing me would stop. Just as I'm starting to give in, something grabs the scruff of my neck hard and yanks me up so violently that my teeth clack together. The fingers are unmistakably hooved.
The letter, you fucking idiot.
Then I'm shoved forward and find myself laying flat against the dining room table. Completely blind, I feel around before finding the letter. I clumsily rip the envelope apart, gripping the letter inside. Then, like a massive vacuum being turned on, the smoke is sucked out of the room, along with the horrible screaming and roaring. In an instant, the room is quiet again, and I slump back to the floor, gasping for breath. Carl is right next to me, curled up in the same position I was. Raven is whimpering, his face in his hands and his rear in the air. Carl coughs a few times, wheezing in air before he looks at me and the envelope clutched in my hands.
What the hell just happened? Are you okay?
I can't respond. I lean back against one of the chairs tucked under the table for a moment, gathering my wits. Carl?
Yeah?
If that James guy tells you anything else, just tell me and we'll do it. Carl breathes heavily in response. Raven, you okay? Raven sits a few feet in front of us, on his knees, tongue hanging out as he gasps. Good. You know, that's what I saw yesterday.
Well, that makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I gathered that.
His story has validity now. We all just thought he was crazy.
I give a short, humorless laugh. That, and also that I'm done asking questions. I just want to get out of here. Well, maybe asking questions is how you get out of here, though. After a few minutes of catching our breaths, I turn my attention back to the letter.
We got that marimba back.
Yeah. Stop. Somehow it's completely undamaged despite catching on fire. It feels crisp and new, and the ink almost looks fresh. It definitely looks like it came from one of the bins in the crawl space. But if that were the case, then there's no way it could be in the great condition it's in. The letter itself is short, and I start to read it aloud. My dearest John, the militia grows more agitated by the hour, and I fear that they will demand a search of this mansion. If that does indeed occur...
Occur.
It's for Canadian. If that does indeed occur, I will do everything in my utmost power.
I have to say this really quick because it's going to kill me if I don't. But this music sounds like if you're playing Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah.
There's Noki Bay, and it sounds exactly like the music in Noki Bay. And somebody in this world will hear this and know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it sounds like Super Mario Sunshine music.
There's an entire bay made of pasta?
Not, first of all, I mean, I guess gnocchi's pasta. Say a potato. It's a potato dumpling.
Yeah.
But no, it's little gnocchis. It's like the worst character to pick when you're playing Mario Baseball. But anyways.
If that does indeed occur, I will do everything in my utmost power.
To hold them off.
I look over at Carl, wondering if he just wanted to read the letter instead. But he's looking right at me.
They will never find the room I've left you in. Do not fear.
Carl moves closer to me, his hands reaching out to grab my shoulder. Carl?
But if they so much as try to lay a finger on your head, it will be the last thing that they ever do.
Before I can even move, Carl leans in and kisses me. I'm just able to get a glimpse of Raven's shocked face before I'm practically smothered by Carl's soft, warm nose and lips. I freeze, my shoulders tensing. It's not that I'm not enjoying it, it's just that the kiss was so unwarranted. I'm not sure how long it lasts, but I never make a move to stop it. Then Carl does finally pull back. It's awkward, and he's looking just as confused as I am. Raven sits there, openly staring at us. Carl lowers his ears, his nose growing pink.
Raven's like, I wanted to date the otter. I told you guys earlier.
This isn't fair. Are you guys in a polycule, or...?
yeah, can I get in on this, please?
Share. Did you bring enough for the class?
Well, we're in a dire situation, so we're all, like, freaking out, right? Let's all cuddle together, like, you know?
For warmth.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. I don't know why I just did that.
I clear my throat. Don't worry about it. This place is doing weird things to me, too. Oh no, we're all gay now.
Oh no, we're all horny now. Oops.
Aw, that was cute. Raven.
Bad timing.
He does
This
not-
is not the tone.
He just
okay.
forgets what's happening, apparently, every few seconds.
Aw, that was cute.
Raven, could you help me up? I mostly ask him so he won't dwell on what just happened. Carl clears his throat.
Well, I think the door's open now. Let's go check.
We make our way slowly down the hall, Raven just behind us. I lean in closer to Carl's ear so the husky can't hear.
Yeah, good hearing, though.
So, was that really you, or did your great whatever just take control again?
Did your great whatever just try to kiss me? I don't know. I think I was still in control. Just felt like the right thing to do, you know?
It looked like you already knew what the letter said.
Yeah.
I wait for him to go on, but he doesn't. Well, what does he need his name cleared for anyway? Being gay? I don't think people care about that stuff anymore.
No, we already sort of knew that. Besides, that was basically a love letter.
So, what is it that he thinks has ruined his legacy? Carl thinks.
I guess the idea that he just allowed his lover to die. I think people believe that he sort of just left John to die. Didn't really try to save him.
This whole mess seems like a pretty roundabout way to go about that, in my opinion. But like I said earlier, I'm done asking questions. Well, it was kind of nice. The kiss, I mean.
Tell your great whatever, thank you.
Carl looks back at me with one green eye.
Yeah.
I smile a little. I guess the fact that something had been growing between us since the beginning of the week is pretty undeniable. And now we're here in this crazy alternate dimension with smoke monsters. So, well, fuck it, I guess. I lean forward and kiss his big, soft cheek. Yeah. Carl grins and is about to say something when I catch movement out of the corner of my eye. Immediately afterwards, I hear a dull thump and Carl grunts, his eyes bulging before he crumples, sending me to the floor with him. Oh my god! I yelp as my ankle bangs against the floor, and I roll onto my back, teeth grit, straining to reach down to hold my foot. Whatever just hit us is standing over me now. I raise a hand feebly to hold off the next blow. When it doesn't come, I lower it slowly and look back up. Jenna?
What the fuck?
What?
Jenna!
Jenna be gay. Jenna stands there stoically, holding what looks like a small wooden stool. Jenna, what? How did you get here? Jenna slowly sets the stool down, slowly seeming to recognize me. I lean forward to feel my ankle, the pain radiating from it in hot pulses.
Chase, are you okay? What happened to your leg?
I sprained it. Hey, Jenna, it's been a while.
Not time, Raven.
It's been a while. Is this how dogs are characterized in this universe?
It's cute.
It's so much more severe than Amicus.
Yeah, no, he's very daft.
I look over at Carl, who's still curled up on his side, his arms wrapped around himself. No, yeah, Raven is extremely Mr. Peanut Butter.
We all need that sometimes.
Carl, you okay? Then to Jenna. Did you hit him? Jenna walks past Carl and crouches down next to my leg.
Oh, she fucking doesn't care about Carl, does she? This looks really bad.
Yeah. Carl, are you okay? Carl grunts and turns over to face us, a hand to his chest.
Jenna, what the fuck was that?
Jenna looks at my ankle a while longer before standing up and looking around. She's just not even acknowledging this.
No,
what the fuck
she's
is
not.
What is happening? When it doesn't look like she's going to answer, Carl sits up.
How'd you find us here?
Raven perks up. Yeah, is there a way out? Jenna finally looks down at Carl, and I note the complete lack of concern in her eyes.
I came to your house looking for TJ and ended up going to the basement.
Where'd TJ go?
Where's TJ?
Wait, this is so many questions. She looks down at the hall again. She looks down the hall again.
And I end up here somehow. I blacked out before I did, so I don't know how to get out.
Carl finally stands up, warily eyeing the stool held loosely in Jenna's hand, before bending down to help me back up.
Your leg okay?
He grunts into my ear as he slides my arm over his shoulder and slowly pulls me back up onto his back. Mostly. I think I kind of twisted it up again. Carl grunts again and turns back to Jenna, now with me on his back.
Well, that's pretty fucked up to blindly swing at someone around a corner. No, what's fucked up is waking up in a place you have no memory of going to.
Jenna's sharp muzzle points right at Carl, glaring. Carl stutters for a second, clearly not expecting to have Jenna snap back at him.
Hey, this isn't my fault. We have no idea where we're at either.
Why are you guys fighting?
Good question. Good question.
Raven looks innocently between the two of them, his ears perked. It's a good question, and I watch Jenna closely from over Carl's shoulder. She just glares at Carl, arms folded. Does she blame him for this somehow? After a few seconds of awkward silence, Carl speaks up.
Well, you hit me for one. I don't know why you are so mad at me.
Jenna looks back at Carl, and I see the tenseness in her shoulders slowly loosen.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little uptight after waking up here.
This doesn't work as an explanation very well. But I think that her ancestor's doing shit, because her behavior keeps being, like, really weird. Hey, you're taking it better than us. Chase was freaking out for hours. Raven. I give Raven a side glance.
Well, things have been going crazy since she left the lake.
Like us ending up in this fucking nightmare dimension?
Not just that.
Jenna sets the stool down on the carpet before sticking out her forearm. That's when I see the crusted blood on her fur, in the form of 3 long lines.
What the? TJ attacked me.
What? That sentence doesn't seem to fit together. TJ? Attacked?
And Jenna, of all people? Why? I have no idea.
The faraway, vacant look Jenna had in her eyes earlier is fading, to be replaced by a more concerned expression I better know her for.
He's been losing it ever since Flynn tried to grab him at the lake.
I start to feel a little sick in my stomach. Why?
He wouldn't tell me. He was just acting anxious, kept looking over his shoulders.
But isn't he sort of like that most of the time? Jenna folds her arms, then shakes her head.
No. He kept looking around, kept saying he was seeing things.
She stops short.
Like what?
Jenna looks up.
Sydney.
We're quiet for a while. Seems all the rumors about this town are true. Everyone is crazy.
This isn't normal at all. Not even an echo.
Jenna looks at Raven.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Raven grins. No, I'm sorry. I'm Raven. I have to apologize in advance for existing. No. No, he's apologizing for not introducing himself. But I like the idea that he's apologizing for existing.
I do also like Raven. I didn't like him at first because he made that comment to Chase and I thought he was going to be a dick.
But he's just kind of an idiot.
He's kind of an idiot, and he's very funny in this situation specifically because he juxtaposes everything we're supposed to feel about everything.
He is just not clicking how he's supposed to feel about anything. He's only scared when there's literally a monster right now. Like, while there's a monster, he's losing his shit. And every second there isn't a monster, he's like, I'm hungry.
This grilled cheese is fine. It tastes like chalk, but I'll eat 5 slices anyway.
Just like a dog. He sticks it in a hand. Jenna looks at it before turning to me.
Damn. Chase, something was going on with Leo too. He kept asking around for you. Then he ran off saying he had to take care of some things.
Oh, I don't know why. I try to think of what Leo might have wanted from me, but I draw a blank. It could be anything. Like sex?
True love?
8 minutes?
8 minutes?
That just becomes code now.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been trying to find TJ for ages. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Tried Carl's house since I ran out of any other options.
What is it like out there? You don't know what day it is anymore? That's really fucking weird.
Well, has she been in here for several days too? Like us?
Well, it sounds like she just got here.
Well, yeah, I guess she's like, I don't know what day it is. Yeah, that is a weird thing.
She's saying it like she just got here, but it sounds like in Echo she lost track of what day it is. I'm like, how?
That doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, for us it makes perfect sense.
I'm just like, is it Silent Hill out there? Like, what's happening in Echo?
Yeah, I saw this this ferret running up to your house, and then I forgot about it.
Jenna goes quiet, then reaches into her pocket and pulls out her phone, holding it up, clearly looking for a signal.
Just as I got to your house, Carl, I heard popping sounds.
Jenna sighs and puts her phone away again.
Gunshots, I'm pretty sure, coming from Main Street. Something's been happening to everyone. Yes, maybe it is like a
something's up.
Shaun of the Dead situation.
Jenna slides her hands into her back pockets, looking around.
And now this?
Wow. So something fucked up is happening all over town. I think about Leo and TJ and my stomach twists at the thought of them being out there. I can only hope that... Fuck you, Flynn.
Yeah, you're right. You didn't think Flynn at all. Good.
It's really funny. I can only hope that they're able to get out somehow.
At this point, I'm just waiting to wake up. We all are.
Yeah, especially after a giant smoke monster chased us around in the dining room.
Tee. What?
Jenna looks at me and Carl. Carl glances back at me, as if asking me to be the one to explain the impossibility that had just happened. I take a breath, trying to think of how I'm going to say this. So, I think at this point you're going to have to just go with whatever this place throws at you, Jenna. Yeah, we're all just kind of accepted we've all just kind of accepted what's been happening. Well, we have to. Otherwise, it would just be us sitting around freaking out about how crazy this all is and not doing anything about it.
And so far, it seems like we've at least been moving things forward.
Jenna stares at us.
What happened?
And then we get her caught up.
Montage.
Well, we're doing the opposite of a let's split up gang, so that's good.
Yeah, well, I definitely...
We're somehow gaining party members.
I agree with you. Let's not split up,
Let's not split up, gang.